Bitcoiners, pre-coiners, no coiners, new coiners, carnivores, Swan Force members, welcome to Swan Lounge, a weekly show in which you get to hang out with some of the Swan team and some of our, I totally screwed up the intro. I never do that. I always nail this. What the hell's going on today? I'm going to start over. Here's what we're going to do. Bitcoiners, pre-coiners, no coiners, new coiners, carnivores, Swan Force members, welcome to Swan Lounge, a weekly show in which you get to hang out with the Swan team and some of our friends from the incredibly exciting world of Bitcoin. Now, before we dive in, as always, we are giving away Jan Pritzker's book, Inventing Bitcoin, for free. In an effort to spread Bitcoin knowledge, you can go to swanbitcoin.com/free book to claim your copy. We have it in 3 different ebook formats and MP3, read by our friend Guy Swan, no relation, over at Bitcoin Audible. All we ask is that you pay it forward by sharing the book with at least 3 friends and family, but you can share it with as many people as you like, so please go share the book. Inventing Bitcoin is the book I send to literally everyone who is new to Bitcoin and looking to get started. It's short, easy to understand, and you come away understanding not only how Bitcoin works, but also why Bitcoin is so important. And to all the Swan Force members out there, remember to look in your referral dashboard where you will find a link you can use to send the free book offer while still getting the referral credit. And if you're not signed up for Swan Force yet, I'm still so disappointed in you. Yeah, I see you at home. Yeah, you right there. You haven't signed up yet. I know. Go sign up for Swan Force. We have a great referral program that lets you get paid to recruit new Bitcoiners. You're out there. You're spreading the good word about Bitcoin already. Why not earn some Bitcoin for doing it? Go to swanbitcoin.com/enlist to get started. You will earn 25% of Swan's fees on their purchases for 3 years. And your referral will get $10 of free Bitcoin when they open up an account with Swan. I'd also like to welcome anyone who is new to the show and to Swan Bitcoin. What is Swan Bitcoin, you might be asking? Well, quite simply, Swan Bitcoin is the best way to accumulate Bitcoin with automatic recurring buys, instant buys, and wires up to $10 million. I'd also, man, I screwed it up again. I was about to read the same thing over again. Forgive me, folks. We have the lowest fees in the industry for our services, up to 80% lower than Coinbase and up to 50% lower than Cash App. And we have incredibly fast onboarding. Go from 0 to Bitcoin in as little as 5 minutes. You can also pay yourself in Bitcoin. Why? Because fiat money, the US dollar, is designed to go down in value. Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million coins, and this will not change. This makes Bitcoin what we call sound money, and you deserve to get paid in sound money, not dirty fiat. Who wants dirty fiat? I don't. Simply pick a percentage of your monthly income that you want to convert, then set it and forget it. I do this. I convert a little bit of Bitcoin every single day. I have not looked back, and every day I have more Bitcoin. Number go up. Number go up is important, but number of sats go up is what's most important. Because time is the most precious asset we have, and Bitcoin respects your time. Fiat money does not. That's why we're all here, folks. And given the massive wave of big name investors and corporations taking large positions in Bitcoin and adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, we have launched Swan Private to meet this demand. Our concierge service for individuals and entities looking to buy at least $100,000 of Bitcoin in the next 12 months. We're here to guide you on your journey toward building generational wealth, and you can access those services at swanbitcoin.com/private. Also, make sure to watch to the end of the episode because we have my favorite segment called Swan Force Fridays, where we put our guests on the clock and give them 60 seconds to give us their best Bitcoin pitch. And a little side note here, I'm actually in the process of editing together all of the pitches that we've done so far, and they are amazing. I can't wait to share this video with you. We're going to tweet them out. We're going to put it on YouTube. It's a lot of fun to kind of go back and watch them all in order and see the different pitches. So I'm really excited about that. Stay tuned. Now, before I bring in our guests, one last thing. You know what I'm going to say. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Why? Because it helps us get seen on YouTube, helps us grow the show so we can reach more people and help them see why Bitcoin is so special. All right, folks. Are you ready? I'm ready. We've got a heck of a lineup today. We've got Mikhaila Peterson of the Mikhaila Peterson podcast, and also well known for her blog and her carnivore diet. I keep to a pretty strict keto diet these days, and I feel like keto and carnivore, they're kind of like cousins. So, I think we'll dive into that. We'll probably share some recipes. We have none other than American HODL joining us. If you don't know American HODL, he's very well known for his self-help videos, so we will get into that. We've got CK Snarks of Bitcoin Magazine, the Bitcoin Conference, and the POV Crypto Pod. He's the good half of the POV Crypto Pod. We've got Gigi, formerly of Swan Bitcoin, author of 21 Lessons, and prolific Bitcoin meme hoarder. Maybe we'll talk about memes today. We'll see. We've also got Brandon Quidham, communications lead at Swan Bitcoin, a prolific writer in the Bitcoin space who you may know from the Mycelium of Money, as well as the Fourth Turning. And of course, we have my co-host in crime, Camilla Campton, Swan Bitcoin's social media manager, who you may know from her many successful dunks on altcoiners. All right, folks, it's time for Swan Lounge, and let me find the right button to click. I can never find it. Here we go. Wait, everyone's muted. I'm sorry. I always forget to unmute everybody. Give me 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Welcome to Swan Lounge, folks. How you doing?
Yay!
Hey.
What up?
Great intro,
everybody.
Berkey.
It's good to have everyone here. As I said, this is an all-star lineup with some really fantastic people, some of my favorite people. Mikhaila, I don't know you. Hopefully I'll get to know you a bit on this show, but I hear great things. We've got some big Peterson fans in the audience and on the show today. So we're honored to have you. How are you doing?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing pretty good. I'm in Dubai. It's late. It's 9 o'clock. So thanks for, I feel like you guys are up early. A lot of you are on the, Pacific Standard Time? Is that where you guys are?
Most of us. It's a coffee hangout for me.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
do we sleep though? We don't really sleep.
That's
That's fair. I don't really sleep either. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm feeling a bit out of my element. I know some about Bitcoin and I have money in Bitcoin, but it's still like new and shiny. So I'm trying to make connections and meet people and learn more. That's why I'm here.
We'd love to see that. Well, why don't we dive in a little bit? So Mikhaila, I know that you had Saifedean and you had Bitstein on your podcast. I listened to the Saifedean one last night. It was great. And I'd love if you could kind of dive a little deeper and tell us about your Bitcoin journey so far. You know, what you've learned. Are you sold? Are you down the rabbit hole? Are you devouring Bitcoin content all day long, every day? I imagine not quite yet, but where are you in this journey?
Okay, so I heard about Bitcoin along like years and years and years ago, and kind of just kept an eye on it. But I was a student; I had like no money, and I put all my money at the time into marijuana stock in Canada, which definitely paid off. But I didn't put any into Bitcoin. And so in the last, year or so, I had a couple of interviews on my podcast and put a little bit of money in, and then a little bit more. And I've just been watching it, and it definitely freaked me out at the beginning because of how volatile it was. And it's volatile now, in the last couple of weeks, but not as much as it was earlier. And I'm not as stressed out about it. Like I have this assumption that it's going to just keep going up until I don't know how long, but like I'm thinking at minimum 100K. Then I'm pretty comfortable with that. What I've been looking more into recently is other forms of cryptocurrency. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought of that, because I know that there are some people who are like, yeah, fuck everyone other than Bitcoin. But then you talk, like, I'm very interested in talking to people everywhere, and you have people who are into other, especially Ethereum, but other types of cryptocurrency, and they're like, no, we know what's going on, and people who are into Bitcoin just haven't caught on yet. And so I'm here to like try and see what you guys think about that, because I've been sold, like I'm kind of sold on both at the moment. Like there seems to be a lot you can do with Ethereum that you can't do with Bitcoin, but like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm trying to learn. So what are you guys' thoughts on the alternative ones other than Bitcoin?
Real quick before we dive into this, I just want to say that I do think it is really important to have these conversations. And there are a number of Bitcoiners who, even if when you broach this topic, will just be like, no, shitcoins, how dare you?
Yeah.
I really think that's productive, at least as long as someone is, acting in good faith and curious and just learning. And I think we've got some people on this panel who, that's the goal of this show. By the time you leave the show, we want you to understand why we are so passionate about Bitcoin only. HODL.
Yeah.
CK, one of you guys, you got to Start us
I
off.
think CK should take this one because he's best friends with the ETH head. What is wrong with these people? See.
Okay, so I would say that there's kind of a couple ways that you can slice it. Generally, I could boil it down to worldview, and it could be as crass as saying like people who are more conservative typically favor Bitcoin. People who are more liberal typically favor Ethereum. Part of the argument is I think a lot of people on the Ethereum side like to market Ethereum as Bitcoin 2.0. Which, if you look at like in any shape or form, like that's just not a true statement. From a predictable monetary policy perspective, it's not true at all. They're going to say things like ETH is ultrasound money because we're going to program it into the future to be more deflationary than Bitcoin. They'll say things like that, which I think are just like, it shows that they don't even understand what sound money means. Like sound money means it's predictable, reliable, and has a well-known history and a forecastable future of monetary issuance, right? So I would say that a lot of the things that Bitcoiners get upset about have to do with Ethereum is Bitcoin 2.0. Ethereum is better than Bitcoin in every way. All Bitcoin's use cases are doable on Ethereum. So I would say that if you like actually look at what these two systems do, like they couldn't be further away from different things. Like they couldn't be, further apart from each other. To add on to that, if you look at what ETH is good at, it's good at effectively for now creating a layer where people can do financial transactions without KYC. So this is really about permissionlessness, right? And in order to achieve that permissionlessness that is currently available on the Ethereum stack, they are using expensive, effectively, they're using a blockchain to kind of string together all of these servers in order to, create mechanisms where you don't have to, like, there's no centralized person that has to collect an email and photo ID in order to give someone access to leverage or something like that. They found a way to kind of abstract that out and preserve that permissionlessness, right? But that is like, how decentralized is Ethereum? Like people will say like, oh, you can't actually even download the full blockchain. I know these are like very specific things, but like long story short is Ethereum is not the same thing as Bitcoin. Ethereum can't do what Bitcoin does. I think a lot of the qualms that Bitcoiners are upset about is the fact that Ethereum salespeople say that it is Bitcoin 2.0. Ethereum itself, like right now, it is doing something that people find very useful. How sustainable that is going into the future, I don't know. Like it definitely has a huge target on its back because, they're giving people leverage and trading and all this stuff through these platforms, these DeFi platforms that don't require KYC. They're breaking these laws, right? So are we going to see them, the decentralization of the blockchain be questioned and attacked? Maybe. So I don't know. Again, like HODL might come in and go like, Vitalik is a scammer. All of these people are doing these things that are really negative. I try to like, let's give you a very kind of like even keel explanation. And I don't even know if that was effective. But I'll let you guys jump in.
Gigi's shaking his head. Before we get to the Vitalik as a scammer part, maybe we'll touch on that. I think it's important to note that, at least to me, what this is all about is building on a solid foundation. Bitcoin's monetary policy is you can't change it, right? Ethereum doesn't have that. If it's more about
it's a different thing. It's not the same thing. They can't even compare it.
Can I just say one?
Is it more usable though? Sorry.
In what way, right? Like, what do you mean is it more usable?
Okay, so coming in from someone, like I said, who just doesn't know about this stuff, from what I've seen and what I've been told, I guess the apps that are being built on top of it make it more usable to transfer money. And like you said, I don't know the legality of what's going on, but if you want to transfer funds or pay people, across continent or on the other side of the world, it seems like a faster way to do it than using Bitcoin. No,
I mean, pretty much. So look, like Coinbase is an app on top of Bitcoin. It's an app that uses centralized servers to host all of their stuff. Effectively, like you could build Coinbase on the Ethereum blockchain. That just means it's going to be a really fucking expensive, really decentralized Coinbase. That's what they've done. That doesn't make it more liquid. That doesn't make it people value the Ethereum token more. Like, the things that make something money, that things that make Bitcoin a really useful network to transfer value across the world have nothing to do with like leverage trading or even trading or minting, putting a JPEG on the blockchain. Like all of this stuff has nothing to do with money. So again, they'll pitch it like this is Bitcoin 2.0 because you can build Coinbase directly on the blockchain instead of, in a centralized server that serves Bitcoin. But I guess sorry, I'm going to just shut up now.
No. Everything you're saying is good, but I just want to point out that the entire chat is alive with Lightning. Everyone is yelling about Lightning Network, Lightning Network, Lightning Network. So I think we need to address the question Mikhaila had that was like, well, everyone's saying that Ethereum can do things that Bitcoin can't do. And the reality is that with second layers, things like Lightning Network or Liquid Network, which are built on top of Bitcoin, Bitcoin can do everything that Ethereum can do. Gigi, you were shaking your head earlier.
Yeah, my problem is I don't have a mouth, so you can see when I'm trying to speak and I'm making faces. But rest assured, I'm making faces all the time. So in my opinion, this is completely the wrong level of discussion. It's like, Ethereum is wrong from the get-go. It's like we are an authoritarian state and we will give all our citizens back their rights once we are done with what we are doing. That's how Ethereum operates. And that's how it started. Ethereum was pre-mined 70%. 70% of the funds are in the hands of very few people. Not many people know that. And yeah, we will decentralize later. We will build all this stuff later. And they have this utopian vision of how such a system might work in the future. Just like an authoritarian ruler who steps in and we need a strong dictator now and we are gonna just make it right and the way it should be at a later point. And Bitcoin is very different because it did it right from the start and made the right compromises from the start. And Bitcoin is built for survival and not for like unicorns and rainbows and utopias. And that's what people miss. And the question is, what is actually broken in these systems? What are we trying to replace? And Bitcoiners are of the opinion that the base money is broken. The fact that central banks can print money and can control everything and can make decisions without being elected, that's the problem. And we have that again in Ethereum. Ethereum thinks we have different kind of problems. But in Ethereum, we have like a board of directors that can make decisions and make decisions like, well, we are going to move to proof of stake. Okay, who's going to decide? Yeah, it's going to be those 5 people. Who is this 70% pre-mine? Yeah, it's those like 10 people. And how are we going to upgrade the protocol? You can only decide the upgrade of a quote unquote decentralized protocol if you force it through by a very like small minority that actually control those kind of things. And we are gonna like people that buy into this, they're gonna have a rude awakening, because if push comes to shove, only the systems that are built for survival will actually survive. And so all the technicalities about what is the pretty app and what is faster and I don't know what, it's the wrong level of discussion in my opinion.
Gigi, we gotta prevent you from talking more often, because when you do come back in, the fire is just palpable. Like that was.
And it looks like he's just smiling the whole time while he's.
Yeah, I'll have to make fire because I'm putting steaks on the grill later, as you can see, and that's what I'm about. Sound money, sound food. That's all what I'm about.
The people. So the people who came, like I said, I've been doing. I don't know enough about this to like make any smart decisions. Although I do have money in Bitcoin, so I did that. But the people who came to me who started telling me more about other forms of cryptocurrency basically said, they didn't say it was Bitcoin 2.0. What they said was that Bitcoin is like gold, so it's going to appreciate, and there's like a finite amount, and that's how it works. But Ethereum is more like, because you can basically print money, right? It's the same kind of idea. It's more usable, but it's decentralized. So that's what they told me. Any
it's not decentralized. I mean, I think Gigi talks about that, but go American.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's more usable, right? Like there are some prettier UX UI interfaces, because that's what Ethereum prioritizes rather than security. They have a totally different engineering culture, essentially. Like Bitcoin's engineering culture is very adversarial, very security focused, because if we are going to be the world's base money, I mean, that's something that's akin to putting astronauts on the moon. Like, that's a very important thing that needs a lot of considerations. And Ethereum has this sort of culture of let's move fast and break things. So they sort of prioritize UI, UX. And so sometimes you see this pretty interface, but you're not really asking yourself, like, behind the scenes, like, how does it actually work? Who's in charge? What's going on? Ethereum is fundamentally a system of rulers and not rules, and Bitcoin is the opposite. Bitcoin is the same rules for everybody, but there are no rulers. It's a totally decentralized system with actual decentralized governance, whereas, you know, Ethereum is sort of like decentralization theater, security theater. They're sort of pretending they are. You know, they're similar to what Bitcoin is or what Bitcoin does. But they're not. You know, a hostile state actor, for instance, could put a gun to Vitalik's head and totally cripple or destroy or coerce Ethereum to be whatever they want it to be. It's very easy to infiltrate, get malicious code in. And so I just fundamentally think it's not a serious project, and I can't take people serious. But it's hard to say in the bull market, because you look at it and it's like the numbers going up. It looks like it's doing really well in USD terms. But those of us who've been in Bitcoin for a long time, and those of us who know the game that's being played with the altcoins, essentially, is that we all value things in Bitcoin terms. Bitcoin is our unit of account, right? And when you look at Ethereum, the Ethereum chart against Bitcoin, it looks terrible. It looks atrocious. The last 4 years have been absolute destruction for it. It's basically trending to zero in Bitcoin terms. The people who are promoting the altcoins to you with these, like, you know, basically kindergarten narratives where they're telling you it's more usable, it's more scalable, it does more this and more that, whatever, it has more rainbows, it has more unicorns, like all that. They are getting you to buy in, and then they want to dump on you at cycle top because you're the person who believed in the narrative, the marketing narrative, and you held the bag all the way to zero. When they dump on you, like, for instance, the Ethereum Foundation sold $100 million of Ethereum during the 2017 top, because they don't believe in Ethereum themselves, the people who are creating it. They buy Bitcoin with the profits from shitcoin trading, and that is the game that's going on. And if you want to engage in that game, I say caveat emptor, like, go for it, but just know that you are walking into the shitcoin casino, and you may lose, you may win. Like, thoughts and prayers. I hope you do well. You know, I hope you make more Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking. I just wanted to get some Bitcoiners' opinions on that.
Totally.
If you all don't mind, I want to bring in a surprise guest. I don't know when he's going to join, but Aleks Svetski asked if he could join us, and we'll see if he comes in. He's a very opinionated person, and I enjoy his opinions. But
before he jumps in and just fucks everything up here, I'll just like to point out that all the things that we are mentioning, they are not theoretical. Ethereum has failed in the past for exactly these reasons. There was like an autonomous organization, like a program that acts like an organization, that's like a decentralized organization that was trying to do various things. And this happened like a couple of years ago, and everyone was super hyped about it. And then it turns out that the code that was running this organization had a bug in it, and someone exploited that bug and stole a couple of $1 million. And so the Ethereum Foundation and the people behind Ethereum stepped in and reversed all of it. And that's how Ethereum split. And now we had Ethereum Classic. So we already had the authoritarian leaders step in and fix, quote unquote, the unchanging system, fix the world computer, fix the unstoppable code. They stopped the unstoppable code, reversed everything, and pretended like this was a good thing, and it never happened. And so that's the current state still. You know, they could still do that. That was the failure of Ethereum, in my opinion.
It happened last November as well. So there is, I guess, this is, again, more technical, but with Bitcoin, if there's ever a fork, we always look at what the previous history said, right? Like, it is clearly objective what was Bitcoin. You know, what was Bitcoin in the past? There is no subjectivity at all. With Ethereum, in this case, like, when there was a issue, they went with whatever was the newer thing. So that means the history, the past, what you are counting on, if you go to bed at night, you're counting on, like, the Bitcoin that you had in the past. That future state is decidable by anyone. And this past November with Ethereum, effectively, there's a chain split that happened. There was a fork where not all the nodes agreed, but what was defined as Ethereum moving forward was the new version. So if you can think of it like, what if the new version was something that was rushed, right? So what if there was a bug that was put into the new version? What if the CIA had gotten into that? Like, the fact that the thing that makes Bitcoin secure is that you can't corrupt the past, that there's work in order to corrupt the past, and that it takes an enormous amount of effort and energy in order to like prevent the blockchain from moving forward. And I know that this is a little bit more technical, and these guys are kind of sticking a little bit more high level. But with Ethereum, the fact that what is defined as Ethereum and people decide that, like, that can always change moving forward. And what happens in the past, what the old chain said, does not matter. And there's an example just from last November that shows that this is still the case. So no matter what they sell you, it's just not Bitcoin. It's not the same thing. It can't even be compared to Bitcoin.
So
by the way, one quick thing. All of the Ethereum people own Bitcoin. None of the Bitcoin people own Ethereum. They don't have the courage of their conviction. They're selling you a future that they don't believe in. They're looking to harm you. They're looking to dump on you. That's what's going on.
I'd like to take a lighter stance on this one quick, and then we can move on because we probably beat this horse. It's really hard for people to understand the deeper sides of Bitcoin and why it matters. And so you're going to see all kinds of people who have very strong opinions who haven't really dug that deep into it themselves. And even the people who are, knee deep, they might come to wrong conclusions because Bitcoin is not counterintuitive. You can't just spend a couple hours reading and understand the system. So it does require a lot of work. And what you'll notice is that the people who have been in the space, who do the hard thinking from first principles, they almost always converge on Bitcoin. The people who like the hype, like Silicon Valley culture, they end up in Ethereum. And that's just how it goes. And then the other point is on design trade-offs. This is me being charitable to ETH. Bitcoin recognizes the problem, separate money from state. In order to do that, you need to have resiliency, security, decentralization, verifiability, all those things that make base money. And to do that, that reduces your attack surface, but it also limits the ability of what you can do on Bitcoin's blockchain layer. But instead, they're going to make the base layer robust, simple, straightforward, never breaks, and then build on layers on top that do more exotic things. You can do the fancy things you want. We already have Lightning Network, which is fast, instant payments. You can do all kinds of things there. Where Ethereum will try to cram all that stuff on the base layer. And by doing so, yes, you can do more on their base layer, but you open up a tremendous amount of attack surface, problems, congestion. And it's trying to be this general purpose blockchain, which, okay, fine, you have to differentiate from Bitcoin. And if you go that route, by design, you're going to have a worse form of money, right? You optimize for general purpose means you're going to not be able to specialize in money. And so Bitcoin's money, Ethereum is something else. And the market for money, the total addressable market is $300 to $400 trillion, very large. And Bitcoin's seeking to disrupt that market. Ethereum's market, I'm not sure exactly what it will be, but if even the bull case for Ethereum will be much smaller, even if it's well used, value to the ETH token is questionable.
So
okay, that was definitely very helpful. That was at my level. That was good. Yeah. I understood that.
Awesome.
Maybe we can dive back into that a little bit more later. I wanted to quickly welcome Aleks Svetski, and I'm getting a note from the producers. They have requested, Aleks, that you do not take over the conversation and that you give Mikhaila time to speak. Okay, we're all together. Okay, buddy. All right, just messing with you. But before we move on, I actually wanted to ask one more question, Mikhaila. So you've had these two really awesome guests on the show. There's a delay. That's how your signal is. Hold on one second. You had these two amazing guests on the show, and your show is kind of wide ranging in topics. How is the response? Like, did your fans appreciate it? Are they excited to learn about Bitcoin? How did that go over?
I think the people who listen to my podcast are pretty open-minded, so I can basically cover whatever topic I'm interested in, and people watch it and appreciate it and like it. So I also think because there's such an overlap between people who are interested in Bitcoin and people who try the carnivore diet, that there was probably overlap there. So if you're on the carnivore diet, you're bound to hear about Bitcoin, and maybe vice versa. But it was definitely positive. And I think I actually had Saifedean on first, and his was so much more in depth that I switched the order of the episode and had Bitstein do an intro first, because I was like, the economics behind Bitcoin, there needs to be some sort of intro for people who know nothing about Bitcoin first. But it was very positive. People are intrigued.
That's really awesome.
I have a question for you, Mikhaila. Can you explain the economics behind Bitcoin?
You're gonna put someone on the spot.
God, no. Yeah, Jesus. You think I pick up everything I talk about?
But like, why is Bitcoin like scarce? Do you know why? Like, or like, you know, how is Bitcoin scarce? Can you describe its scarcity? I mean, like, people say 21 million. That's a good way to do it.
No,
No,
I can't. No, I know that it's like to gold, but there's a finite amount that you can't create more. But Jesus, no, I have like 6 jobs. I can't do full-time Bitcoin, even though maybe that would be more lucrative.
I'll leave the questions to Brecky.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it, Alex.
Mikhaila, what's your interest in and around Bitcoin? Like, what actually sparked your interest?
I went on the carnivore diet, and it like treated my incurable autoimmune disorder. And after that, I lost faith in everything that I used to believe in. Like, first I lost faith in the medical system, and that just crushed me, because I was in the medical system from the age of 5, and they told me that, like, we know everything about what's wrong with you, right? And so when I lost that, I was like, well, what else am I looking at that I'm wrong about? So it's not just Bitcoin, but specifically for Bitcoin, I mean, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the healthcare system. So why would I trust fiat money? So it's not because I'm looking for like a get rich quick scheme. I should have put in Bitcoin a long time ago to do that. But it's more because I also don't trust the state of the world at the moment. Like, I'm in Dubai right now because Canada it's like living, I don't know what it's like living in. Like, people are shut in their houses in Toronto.
A gulag.
Like it's insane. Like, they're giving children tickets at parks. Like, I don't trust that stability. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next year. So my interest in Bitcoin is just putting out feelers so that if something, crazy happens, I'm just aware of all the alternatives.
There's a lot of
so I think you touch on a really important point there about the sorry, I think I've got a bit of a delay, but I think there's a really important element you touched on there, which is this idea of trust. So I had loads of health problems when I was younger. Like, I might not look like it at the moment, but like when I was younger, I was basically curled up, with all sorts of fucking stomach problems. My grandma was like she was a walking chemist, and like her idea of like good health was like take fucking 89 pills every single day. And I sort of, I moved out of home when I was young, and I rehealed myself, and I developed like from a young age, a really healthy skepticism of, mainstream ideology. And it actually, funny enough, it started for me with the health stuff as well. So there's a really strong parallel there for me. But for me, the next one was actually during that, my sort of early formative years, I was also trading the market in the GFC and all this sort of stupidity. And but I had this dream to be a millionaire by the time I was 20. And then I found myself $250,000 in debt before I started my 20s. And then I sort of had to dig my way out of that. And that sort of took me down the path of trying to learn a little bit about the monetary system. And, you sort of start to realize that it's just this, I guess instead of being rooted in reality, it's this made up edifice of, and I think American HODL said it earlier, is this sort of rulers, not rules situation. And I kind of differentiate between the two of like, you have natural emergent order, which is things that, we as individuals come to realize through experimentation, in a more decentralized manner, in a more decentralized manner, I guess, versus fiat order, which is this idea that somebody or something can know what's right for everybody and everything. And it's funny because in those early days, I sort of, came across Bitcoin. I dismissed it. I thought, yeah, whatever, internet, funny money. But I sort of came around to it again in 2016 when I'd had an incident with a prior business where I actually got forced out by the board of directors. I got Steve Jobs out of my own business. And I then had to, I had a sort of come to Jesus moments, like, what am I going to do with my life again? And I came across Bitcoin once again, and I thought, what is this thing still around? And as I dug, like, I've got a little saying, which is I came for the money. I thought I was going to get rich. But as I dug deeper, I found this thing with so much depth and grounding in principles, of life. And in particular, it made me, like you said, question this idea of fiat authority, this idea of like these top-down mandates that are decreed by people who have the audacity, the ignorance, or the arrogance to assume that they know what's right for everyone. And to sort of, where I'm going with this is sort of tying it into, I guess maybe I was a bit late with what you guys were discussing earlier about Ethereum or any other shitcoin, but what I wrote an article recently called Fiat, Fascism, Communism, Bitcoin's Liberty and Sovereignty. And what I believe Bitcoin stands for fundamentally is the anti-fiatization of the world. And whether that is fiat food, fiat money, fiat authority, fiat fucking health, fiat whatever, that doesn't work. We need to rebuild the world. We need
fiat internet connection.
down.
I love that he's frozen on this. Is he frozen on this in the
Yeah,
actual
like I did
stream?
a tweet today.
That was such a good ending,
Bitcoin's
too.
not democratic. Bitcoin's sovereign.
It wasn't the ending. That was the middle point, actually.
As there's not we all endorse this. Sorry,
Alex, I gotta cut you off.
Sorry.
We can't
Gotta
hear you.
mute him. Gotta mute him.
Sorry, we gotta slay Alex. That's what Bitcoiners do. If you...
Have I forgotten this shit?
Sorry.
Alex, are you with us or no? We may have to nix it.
All right. Well, Alex is getting himself out of the matrix. Mikhaila, you said I have 6 jobs. How can I focus on Bitcoin? Totally normal, but it's a very profound
where. Okay,
point.
so part of the problem is there's so much information out there that I've been listening to podcasts, which is really helpful, but I don't have time to spend like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours going through blogs or meeting people. It'd be good if I knew where to go or who to meet or what to read.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I want to just kind of a meta point on that, though, which is that normal people don't have that much free time to go dive into Bitcoin or any type of investment. And how is that a problem? Right now, normal people work, they save their money, and they try to, build for the future. And currently, they cannot save their money in dollars because those dollars are devalued every year. So at the end of their retirement, if they saved in dollars, they might only have half the purchasing power that they thought they had. Right, because the dollar is being devalued every year. So instead, we're expecting our normal people all around the world, our truck drivers, our teachers, we're expecting them to go gamble in the stock market or take on some other type of risk to invest simply to preserve the fruits of their labor, right? And so why would we want a world like that when in Bitcoin terms, you can simply just save Bitcoin, 10% of your surplus at the end of the month, you buy Bitcoin with, and it's that simple. You don't have to worry about the time, you don't have to worry about the investment. And simultaneously, because it's so hard to, quote, preserve your purchasing power by gambling in the stock market, we have this huge financial industry of B squad analysts who take a percentage of your money just to dump it in the stock market for you. And so the whole thing's messed up. Where Bitcoin, you just save in the future. It's for normal people. And it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or you're a coconut salesman on the beaches in Honduras, you can save in Bitcoin. You have the same upside as everyone else. So I just didn't want that point to sneak away from us.
By the way, the place to go is Twitter, and all the people to meet are on Twitter, and all the best information is on Twitter. And I'm sure the audience will be happy to put together a list of people you should follow to get all that correct information for you.
Well, I'm following you guys now and some other people,
Nice.
so that should be a start. And I get the investing and just invest. I just want to know more, especially if I'm talking to my dad about his investments. It's like, well, what's that all about? And then I have to have like a solid argument. So it's not just about, that's a bit of an argument that it's
Don't worry, we're
increasing
happy
value, but
we're happy to orange pill your dad. We're more than happy to do that.
okay.
We're all
It's
big.
gonna happen
Most of
at
us
some point.
are big fans.
I've been
Working on
okay.
it.
I've
Yeah,
been working
Gigi,
on
I think
it
it's-
for a while too. He's open.
Gigi, I think, is gonna have a call with him and talk to him about some Bitcoin. But I do want to make two content recommendations. Parker Lewis, everything that he's done, that is stuff that is definitely on your dad's kind of level too, in terms of going deep down into all of the different aspects of Bitcoin. And then Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, does a very excellent job of articulating the value prop in a way that I think is very understandable. So I recommend both those people's pretty much everything they put out can't go wrong.
And just to
sorry,
quickly,
you said Parker Lewis and who was the second guy?
Michael Saylor.
Okay, thanks.
I'm nominating Gigi. When this is over, you're going to put together a guide to Bitcoin for Mikhaila and send it over.
I will. But,
nice.
But that's exactly the problem with this kind of phenomenon. You know, like there is no way to start, and there is no single route that leads to Bitcoin understanding, because there are like 50 or like maybe 2,000 different small puzzle pieces that you will have to understand. And I can't know what kind of things you already know and what is already obvious to you. I don't know where, like, how much do you know about monetary history? How much do you know about distributed systems? How much do you know about the evolution of the internet? How much do you know about resilience systems? How much do you know about the different problems?
Like nothing really.
It's just that's why there is no one single pitch for Bitcoin, and there is not one single book that you can read to really understand Bitcoin. Even the Bitcoin standard is not sufficient. You know, like it basically teaches you about money a lot, but you don't really learn why like 21 million is untouchable and how the system works on a technical level very deeply. And you like if you come from a torrent world, for example, if all you did in when you were younger was pirating movies and games and whatnot, I have a very easy way to pitch Bitcoin to you, because you understand half of it already. And if you come from a country that suffered hyperinflation, I also have a very easy way to pitch Bitcoin to you. If you're a sex worker and you can't open a bank account, I have a very easy way to pitch Bitcoin to you. And all of these are true, and all of these are necessary to kind of understand it. But I can't give you like the short answer, like a booklet of 5 pages of how Bitcoin works and why it is important and what you might get out of it, because it's an individual piece of technology. Everyone uses it differently. You also have to understand it differently according to how you might want to make use of it. And currently, a lot of people use it as a store of value, for example, but that's not all it is. Like, it is not only Gold 2.0. It is so much more.
So why don't we kind of meander over towards the, Bitcoin is love kind of area of Bitcoin philosophy here. And we've got American HODL here, who's been pushing a narrative that I just think is so money, that,
LOL.
Stacking sats and hodling Bitcoin is self-help. It's good for you. It changes you. It makes you a better person if you follow this rabbit hole. So HODL, would you mind kind of like maybe going into that a little bit, and then let everyone else chime in?
Yeah, I look around the world and I just see increasing nihilism, pessimism, fatalism. We now have more people than ever before who just full stop believe they don't have a future. And when you don't believe you have a future, you end up doing things like gambling or diving into hedonism, et cetera, right? And so I think in Bitcoin, what we have found is stable bedrock on which to build our lives, right? Because this is a system of rules and not rulers, we can, prognosticate into the future with some clarity about what is going to happen. And then this leads to other low time preference behaviors where we start families and take care of our health, take care of our mental well-being, et cetera. And so in order to hodl Bitcoin, you have to love yourself, because you're hodling for future you. So you have to believe in future you, believe that things are going to be better for them, and then put aside money for them. Right. And so I think that's a very revolutionary act, is to lower your time preference, hodl for the future, and, basically not give in to pessimism, not give in to nihilism, be a rational optimist, and believe that not only can you make things better for you, you can increase the well-being of the people around you. And then once we have enough people doing that, we can increase the well-being of the entire fucking world and fix things, like finally fucking fix things.
Fix the money, fix the world. That simple.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. HODL, what you just mentioned there is actually when I hit you up and you being a lazy son of a bitch, you don't want to help me with it, but fuck you. I'm writing. So Mikhaila, just for the context, I'm writing a 12-part series of essays, actually modeled on your dad's first book on 12 Rules for Life. So basically, I'm taking each of his lessons and then doing an entire essay on Bitcoin. So the first one is called Bitcoin Hierarchy and Territory. The next one is Bitcoin Chaos and Order. But the third one, and I'm just going to pull a little, where the fuck is it? A little piece here on it. So it's called Bitcoin, Bitcoiners and Citadels. And it's basically going to be about this is, it's so to extend from HODL's point, it's like, it's not only self-love, because, we have to have a relationship with our future selves. And, we want to, like, the opposite of that Homer meme, which is I'm glad, I'm not future Homer. This is a problem for him, right?
That's cute. Oh, yeah, that's my favorite line.
So it's like we want to sort of reverse that trend and have a relationship with our future selves. But also the Bitcoin community is something that, I've found super, super special. Like, I've always been a contrarian all my life. And not a contrarian in the sense of like, oh yeah, fucking, gravity doesn't work, so I'm going to jump off the bridge. Like that's dumbass contrarian. Like contrarian in the sense you find something that is rooted in like first principles that works, that people who don't get it decide to call you a moron. So if you look at, Bitcoin itself, it's like the bankers don't like us. The crypto monkeys don't like us. The blockchainers don't like us. The government doesn't like us. All of this sort of stuff, oh, you're toxic, you're this, you're that. But you have this community that has actually converged around a common set of values that we have come to define ourselves, not because somebody else told us to, but because we've actually done the digging. And that kind of relationship, not only with ourselves, but with the people around us, is super, super important. So I think to both what Brecky and HODL said, it's like, you have a community here. It's like, again, to sort of quote a biblical reference, the meek shall inherit the earth. And actually I learned this one from your dad, is like, if the definition of the meek is those who carry a sword but choose to keep it sheathed, that's what Bitcoiners are. Like, we fucking like have an optimism for the future. We know that shit's bad, but we're actually doing something functional about it. We are moving the locus of individual power, the locus of power back into the hands of the individual, and then creating a system via which each individual can actually come to consensus and agreement and operate on a common playing field without it being without the commonality being mandated from the center. So it's voluntary commonality. So I called it in a podcast ages ago, it's like a prospering of the commons instead of a tragedy of the commons. And I know I'm kind of talking high level here, but it's super, super, super important. And I've not seen that in any other community in my life. Like, none of us here have a real advantage, like, getting you into Bitcoin or getting anyone else into Bitcoin. Like, the amount of writing and content and shit that we do is because we actually give a fuck. And we all seem to give a fuck about the same thing, not because someone told us to, but because we actually give. And that's just so rare. Like, I have not seen, like, I just interviewed yesterday the author of The Creature from Jekyll Island, so Edward Griffin.
Whoa.
And we had a really great chat, but like, people like him even are just stuck in this old paradigm of, well, we can't really beat the old system. So, we should get ready with, our gold and hunker down. And it's like, well, no, that's not a fucking solution. We need to come up with better ways, lest the world turns into a fucking dystopian nightmare, which is even worse than the shit that we're dealing with at the moment.
Camilla, I saw you shaking your head earlier. Did you want to chime in on something?
This was just reminding me, because I listened to Mikhaila and her dad's podcast. And Mikhaila, you were talking about a time where it's like, things are so messed up right now. We should just get a whole bunch of people to create a fund where we can buy our own private island and move over there. And when I was listening to that, I was laughing, because those are the conversations we Bitcoiners have, talking about saving up on Bitcoin, creating this wealth to where if it gets to that point, we can go buy our own islands and create our own citadel. and become sovereign individuals. So I just feel like there's so much connection with what you were talking about with your dad on that podcast, with what the conversations that us Bitcoiners have, that it's like you're there, you just don't know it yet. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, I have money in Bitcoin. I'm already there. I just don't have the knowledge base that would make me comfortable with what I'm already doing. Like I usually, when I do something, I like to know exactly what I'm doing. I know enough people and I've done enough research that I'm like, okay, I see this. I just don't, like, I'm just missing something. I don't know exactly what I'm missing. The community there is another community I've been part of that has been very open-minded, and that's the carnivore community, where it's a bunch of people who are like, what the hell? This is a diet that can sustain life. And then, like, that doesn't make any sense. And so that's been, and I think that's why there's an overlap between some people who are on the carnivore diet and Bitcoiners, because it's a completely different way of thinking.
That's another contrarian viewpoint rooted in first principles. So I've been carnivore for ages now, and so sort of I was actually vegan for 2 years when I was in my mid-20s. So I tried everything on my body. Like, I was even funny. Yeah. I wrote an entire book called Raw Muscle. Like, I went to fucking LA. I lived in Venice Beach, California for like 9 months, and I went there to like train at Gold's Gym to prove that you could build muscle and be healthy on a fucking vegan diet. And by the time I got to the end of my book, after 2 years of researching, I was like, okay, this is a load of shit. And I went back and started eating meat. And it was just like, that community is very similar in essence to the Bitcoiners. And funny that you mentioned that, because I just actually put out a tweet today. I was like, I want to bring a carnivore on my podcast. Who do you guys recommend? So like everyone started like posting stuff, and I think your name came up. So I don't know, I might hit you up about that. But I think that's
Are you poaching on my show? Are you poaching right now?
I'm not poaching. I'm not poaching. Sorry.
Right now.
CK, how's
just random?
Wait, what was that, Brecky?
So how's your vegan diet going?
Oh, it's over. Thank God. But that was.
I was kidding.
His balls shriveled up.
Yeah. No, it was for Lent. So forgive me, carnivores, but I gave up meat for Lent as a mandatory sacrifice. So it had to happen. But I'm back on meat, which is great.
Love it.
So I wanted to let these guys talk, but just to talk about Bitcoiners like living above the fear. Bitcoin 2021 is going to be one of the biggest events in the world. Definitely the biggest event since the Super Bowl in Miami, and it's a Bitcoin event. Bitcoiners aren't scared. Bitcoiners are traveling. This entire year, I've been one of the most free people of my entire net worth, traveling around the US, kind of like living my life. And even my fiance, who is like, let's just say not a hardcore Bitcoiner, like she's elevated above the fear because of her alignment with me. And I feel like I seriously do not know how the fuck I would have got through 2020 if it wasn't for the Bitcoin community. Like, it's really unreal. So Mikhaila, if that says anything of just about like Bitcoiners, the Bitcoin community, maybe alignment with the carnivore community, like there's a lot of symmetries here.
Where's this event? I think I've seen tweets about it. Where is it? When is it? Oh, of course.
It's Miami, June. CK, you want to do it?
June 4th and 5th. Let's go. All these people are going to be there. So
CK, let's.
That sounds like fun.
This was on my.
You should come for sure.
Mikhaila, there are events there called beefsteaks. There are actually going to be two of them that I know of, and you can avoid the alcohol and all that, but it's literally just meat and Bitcoiners and more meat. So
that sounds like fun. June 4th and 5th. Okay, I'm supposed to be in Russia, so we'll see.
A lot of ETH heads are vegan, if that helps you at all.
That's a sign.
Pure, 100% soy diet over there.
Yeah, it really is.
Sad.
They're soy lent maximalists, honestly. Like, you look at their profiles and they're like, literally, I'm pro proof of stake, pro Soylent, and pro, like, they got all their fucking pronouns as well. Like, everything.
Anyway, yeah.
CK,
sounds like a cheap shot, but it's true.
Okay, I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
We'll send you info on the conference as well. CK, this was on my list. Can you actually tell everyone who's watching a little bit about the conference and how it's going. I know you're on the magazine side, but I know you're plugged in. And also, I'd love to hear what are you most excited about at the conference? Because I've got this feeling just from the tweets and the speakers that it's going to be like one of those music festivals where there's so many things going on that you just won't be able to do everything. And I need to know what's good. I need to know what I need to focus on. So give us the breakdown.
I mean, so everyone here, except for maybe Mikhaila, is going to be there. Mikhaila, we can fix that. And in terms of the conference, like it's going to be the entire energy of Bitcoin kind of emerging on Miami all at once. The entire week, June 1st, I'm going to get there and there's events and all the way through. So, I mean, like you can't beat it. Like there's going to be speakers that you care about. There's going to be speakers that you don't give a shit about. And you should just go regardless. Because you can always hang out with Bitcoiners, and it's going to be just like a like South by Southwest Bitcoin only takeover of Miami. That's the best way I can describe it. So, I mean, even the people who are loudest on Twitter bitching about it are DMing me for discounts. So that's all I can fucking say. Like whatever. Like I'll give you a discount because I'm a nice guy, but like it is what it is. It's gonna like I feel we have already. Like the conference has already won. This is the shelling point for Bitcoin energy. So we don't really have to do anything else beyond that.
That's hilarious.
Here's a twist to the story. All the Bitcoiners land in Miami and get arrested. It's all done.
Oh, wait. You know,
don't put the energy down, man.
Wow.
That evil on me.
Living above
bring it
fear.
on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bitcoiners are very well weaponized. You know,
Gigi's got
like,
the lobster
it's-
machine gun there.
Yeah, that's like they wield it by the meme Terminator. So it's your dad with laser eyes, actually.
Oh my god.
Wait, hold on.
That's hilarious.
So
Wow.
that's some Bitcoin energy. So if you come to Miami, there will be a lot of this.
Fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
Gigi, you and these backgrounds. For those who don't know, Gigi, there's a lot of commitment here. Gigi's actually wearing a full-on green suit. He can't breathe very well. He can't speak very well. He definitely can't go to the bathroom without soiling himself. So, Gigi, thank you for your commitment to this. It's quite beautiful.
Just for the record,
Gigi's a resident gimp.
not drinking for like 3.5 hours if I'm on with Breedlove or someone, that's the worst. So, you know, like,
Didn't we almost kill you when it was me, you and Breedlove on the show?
yeah, sure.
By the end of the show.
Yeah, that was my green suit premiere, and we were
That
on for like 4 hours, and it was really hot. So yeah,
That was great. That was great.
Oh man, I feel like we've been doing a lot of like Bitcoin explaining. Mikhaila, do you have any questions while you've got these crazy toxic people here with you that maybe we can dive into?
I don't think I have anything. Like the main thing I've been wondering about recently, because I've been talking to people who are in like the, more into Ethereum. So I think you guys addressed most of that. And I wasn't that surprised about what you were saying, because that's, from the research I've done, that's kind of the conclusion I've come to. That's the only thing I think I've been wondering about, to tell you the truth. I'm like, I say that I don't know enough about this, and which I think I don't, but I have done, I've been looking into it for a number of years, so I'm not that much of a noob. But I don't think I have questions. That addressed my Ethereum curiosity.
Can I ask a question that might be a question of yours, Mikhaila?
Yeah.
So I don't know where I crescendoed before, because I think my fiat internet died, but I think I was just talking to the point where you said about trust. So I think what I heard when you originally mentioned why you're interested in Bitcoin is just this idea of, you've had this distrust with potentially broken institutions that have been feeding us garbage. And Bitcoin is something that stands against all of that. I guess to loop that into Ethereum, which this is the last thing I'll say about it, is, Ethereum is literally about trust, don't verify, whereas Bitcoin is like, it's about verify, don't trust. And I think the biggest transformation that we're going to see moving forward in the world is the ability to organize around something that doesn't require trust for us to coordinate. And that's sort of, I think, the essence of what Bitcoin gives in the world. And that's a much stronger foundation upon which to build, because trust can naturally, trust in institutions can be corrupted. And that's where like we can bring order back into, a world of chaos that's emerged from a broken order, effectively. That was my question. Sorry, that was the statement. But what I was going to ask you, you said that there was still a couple things that were a little bit. You said like there's like some gaps in your understanding. Like if you could pick one or two of those gaps, like what would you guess that they are? Like that, what's the difference between you where you are now and holding all of your savings in Bitcoin?
Aleks, you're asking her what she doesn't know. How is she supposed to know what she doesn't know?
Maybe.
No, there isn't much of a gap, actually. There isn't much of a gap. Like I was almost there a couple of weeks ago, and then I got approached by these people who seemed trustworthy, and I'm completely aware that there are scammers everywhere. But there's just, I don't know. I guess my question would be, okay, so one, there is a huge learning curve to getting into Bitcoin. You can sign up for programs that put some of your savings in, but if it's one of those things that you have to spend 10,000 hours on, it's spreading. So I guess that answers the question itself, but how is it supposed to be implemented? If it's only like people who get into Bitcoin are smart. Not everybody is capable of doing that much research or figuring out how to put money in. So do you guys think that it's just going to become easier? Okay. So what do you think?
There's a bell curve for sure.
It is
what
a bell
CK
curve.
means is that what CK means is that people who are very smart and people who are very dumb both get it, but it's the people in the middle who've been conditioned by institutions not to get it. Those are the people who don't get it. So we love our very dumb friends as well,
Really?
Maybe not dumb. It's an IQ distribution, basically. That's sort of the premise behind what we're saying. But there's a funny meme, that sort of meme. It's like the bell curve, and you have like the genius on one side, dumbass on the other side. It's like the people in the middle don't get it. But I think to your question, I think Bitcoin sort of grows like in waves and generations. And like if you look at sort of the earlier generations of people, they were sort of full on like, I guess you could call them crypto anarchists, kind of like the really early idealists. And then sort of the second wave was the people who understood hard money, things like that. The sort of the third wave, which is where I'd say the school that I came from. So the school of 2016, school of 2017, like the third epoch of Bitcoin. We're sort of, again, the idealist type, but we've sort of blended philosophy and ethics and all this sort of stuff into Bitcoin. As it becomes more and more mainstream, it's kind of like the internet. The early people on the internet had to figure out how to use email and all of that. Okay. So it diffuses through society. So the benefit of being early is that you want to you get the monetary benefit of an increase in purchasing power, but there is a cost to being early, which is you have to do the work and you have to deal with the ridicule, basically.
Oh yeah, I'm totally fine with that though.
Which, obviously we do know this.
Also, one thing is Bitcoin is a capital system. So what it really requires in order to grow is smart people who have large pools of capital to allocate to it, right? So you actually don't need that many people in order to make, if you're just talking about the number going up, you don't need that many people or decision makers in order for that to happen.
Yeah, well, that becomes a self-reinforcing thing, though. So you get large capital allocators, and then that reinforces the smaller capital allocators, and then that helps Bitcoin diffuse further, and it sort of like feeds on itself. And that's why, like, I don't believe we've seen anything yet in terms of like movement. So I'll say one last thing that might sort of blow your minds. Like, we've seen nothing. Sorry about the noise in the background. Fuck a duck. The joys of being in a third world country. They don't have any lights at the train crossing, so they just like beep so that the car doesn't fucking drive across. Anyway, so what I was saying was you know how Satoshis in Bitcoin work, right? Like the denomination. So there's 100 cents in $1, and there's 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. Right. So we won't be in the coming decade. There's not a chance in hell people are going to be thinking in terms of how much Bitcoin you have. It'll be a question of how many Satoshis do you have. And as sort of Satoshi's increase in purchasing power, we'll get to the point where, you know, a single Satoshi is worth, let's say the first major milestone is 1 Satoshi is worth 1 cent, right? At that point, when a Satoshi is worth 1 cent, think about the movement.
$1 million Bitcoin.
Yeah, so that's $1 million Bitcoin.
You think
but
so?
Think about this, easy. So
Wow.
think about this as a change. When a Satoshi going from 1 cent to 2 cents, does that sound like a big move?
Well, yeah.
No.
Well, on the surface, it doesn't look like it. So a Satoshi moving from 1 cent to 2 cents is not very big because that's what people are going to be focused on. But in reality, what's happened is Bitcoin's moved from 1 million to 2 million. I guarantee you before the end of this decade, we will see Bitcoin move up in price by $1 million in a single day. That's exactly what's going to happen as the craziness starts to happen. So when you think about it in that sense, like we have barely even scratched the surface on Bitcoin's movement yet. Like everything will be priced in Satoshi. So that's where you want to think. So when you're accumulating Bitcoin, you don't think about, I'm buying $100 and it's buying me fuck all of Bitcoin. $100 is buying you 20,000 Satoshis, which by the end of this decade, 20 grand, it will buy you a car or something like that by the end of this decade. You know, by the end of the following decade, it'll probably buy you a house. So
Aleks.
so that's that purchasing power. But I'll shut up now.
No worries. Mikhaila's got to hop in a minute. I just wanted to say thank you for joining. And also, if we can help you whatsoever, we'd be more than happy to. There are a million Bitcoiners who'd love to talk to you. Maybe before we go, everyone can give one, absolutely just one, no going on for 10 minutes, one recommendation of content for Mikhaila, and then we'll let her go.
I'm having Robert Breedlove on my podcast, by the way. That's that's coming. That's coming up.
That's it. Game over.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Game, set, match.
Okay, I'm ready.
We'll send these to you. You don't have to write them down. American HODL.
Okay.
You can recommend one piece of information, one piece of content.
One piece of content. I would read Vijay Boyapati's The Bullish Case for Bitcoin. I think that's probably still to this day the best laid out argument in a single article. So check that one out.
Boom.
You already got mine. I already gave. She wrote them down. Parker Lewis and Michael Saylor. Everything they do. Yeah.
I've been. I know I got harassed by the audience. I'm actually following Michael Saylor. I've just felt like it. But anyway,
you won't regret it. I want to recommend something, and that's Gigi's 21 Lessons. Amazing book.
Love it. Gigi, since I know you were going to recommend your own book, but Camilla beat you to it. So what else you got?
I'm going to recommend a book that is actually about Bitcoin, but was written before Bitcoin came on the scene. And it's called The Ethics of Money Production. I think it's one of the most important books that you can read to really understand what's going on.
I love that. Okay, awesome. Let me write these down. Production. Brandon, what do you got for us?
Yeah, considering we've been mentioning the difference between Bitcoin and the others, I would recommend Lynn Alden's essay, Ethereum Analysis, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Just break an economic analysis of Ethereum. There you go. Very rational, grounded discussion on that.
Yeah, the original title was Why Ethereum is a Shitcoin, by the way. No, I'm just kidding, but that's basically what the title, what the article says.
All right, Alex. One recommendation of content.
I'm going to be a selfish asshole and just say, just because it's the right theme, the 12 Rules series that I started, because I think you'll be grounded in that work anyway, and I think it'll sort of close some of the gaps, I hope.
And Mikhaila, before we say goodbye, since could you recommend one thing for us, something to get us out of our Bitcoin bubble? What would you recommend? Or maybe like your favorite podcast, your favorite episode that you've done on your own show.
Well, you guys are. I just released an opposing views on COVID, which was extremely entertaining. If you guys want to be entertained, it had like the two opposite views, and it was just absurd to do. So that's entertaining. But I mean, if you haven't looked into or tried the carnivore diet, and you're looking for like brain optimization or just getting sharper, I think it's worth doing a trial. It's completely transformed my life. And I think if you're not looking into diet, then you're missing a huge aspect of your health. So I just push diet in there.
I love it.
If someone's curious, what would a good experiment be? How would you set up from 0 to
Like
carnivore experiment?
If you're at 0, if you're on the standard American diet, even just going to a paleo diet and getting rid of like grains, for me, it was like grains, dairy, and processed foods. Even getting rid of those is going to make such a difference that you'll at least clue into the fact that diet has something to do with how you feel. And then you're more inclined to go to carnivore. Going from the standard American diet to the carnivore diet can be pretty miserable for people. So generally going like standard American diet, grain-free, like paleo, keto, carnivore, it's a lot easier metabolically. But some people jump in and they're fine.
Thank you. It's great meeting you.
For now. Yeah, thanks for having me on. That was really interesting. I appreciate the invite. That was fun.
Thank you, Mikhaila. You rock.
Thank you, Mikhaila.
Keep it up. Coming to Bitcoin 2021.
Yeah, I might. That sounds like fun. I'll see. I'll see if I'm not in Russia. Okay.
I'm going to call Putin and tell him to close the borders.
Bye. I have a visa. It's too late.
Yeah.
Bye. I'll talk to you guys on Twitter. Bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's we got an amazing panel still, so I say we keep going for however long everyone wants to keep going. Gigi, you're nodding your head. I feel like you haven't
well done for organizing this, Bricky.
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
Honestly, I think Robert Breedlove introduced us to Mikhaila, so thanks to Rob.
Nice.
That was really fun. I guess it wasn't that fun because Brandon left. Okay, Brandon.
It's like, fuck this guy. I've seen enough of him every day.
Like, I'm done.
How are we doing on time? We have time for more cosmic discussion, or should we shift over
and do to the top of the hour?
All the carnivore talk made me hungry, so I ordered ribs. So I will hang out until my ribs get here.
Nice. Fair.
Right.
I got to call in 15.
Yeah,
so
that's my deal.
I'll hang out for 15.
Yeah, I'm good to the top of the hour. Let's make it go.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll switch it up because I think steak time is over, so we can talk memes finally. And so that was the one. So I feel like this meme is way outdated because 250K is just like fucking bearish. Like, it's what kind of bear made this meme, man? Just someone has to replace the K with an M or something, and it's just
that
250
meme was
million.
made. That meme was made in the bottom of the bear market. Remember when the price was like 3,200 or something in like 2018, and it seemed ridiculous at the time to people, and it was amazing. I remember people getting really upset and being right in the middle there. It was the best. And now we're only 5x away. It's almost a guarantee at this point.
Gigi, can you mirror yourself so that you're over both the bottom and the top of the bell curve?
I'm not sure if I can do it live. But
Gigi's being very humble on the left side of the bell curve.
Yeah, he is.
Gigi, what kind of left brain stuff are you doing over with our friends at CT? Is there anything that you can talk to us about?
Yeah, we're looking at all kinds of things. I'm just, like it feels like I started 2 days ago, so it's all very, very new to me. And yeah, oh man, Brecky is on point with his helmet. But yeah, there's some exciting things happening, and I think I'll keep it at that. But oh man, like you all know that I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but it feels like still every single day I wake up and I'm more bullish.
Wait, hold on.
Before.
There was something I meant to talk about, and wait, let me find it. I went to the Bitcoin Magazine website, and I just went to articles.
Good job.
Yep, of course, to find some news to discuss. Hold on. There we go. Let me share my screen. I don't know what's going on with you guys, but it is like, hold on, where is it? It's like a renaissance of Bitcoin content over at Bitcoin Magazine, and this bull market, this is like the most bullish headlines page I've ever seen. Hold on, where is it? Let's just like go through and look at these headlines. Ignore Coinbase, ignore that, but like it's just like bullish, 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 bullish. And I love it. And it's amazing. So CK, you're doing a kick-ass job over there. I just wanted to give you a quick pat on the back. Anyway.
Well, there's literally nonstop bullish stuff happening in Bitcoin the whole time. It's never ended. So I'm just trying to get our guys on top of it all. So want Bitcoin Magazine to just be the hub of Bitcoin, just Bitcoin knowledge and Bitcoin signal. And honestly, like our whole motto at the company is respect the plebs. Like Bitcoin Magazine is built by plebs, and we're here for the plebs. So that's what it's about. And I know that Swan is the same way. So really looking up to Swan a lot too. I learned a lot just watching you guys build. So, you know, this is the way.
Wait, hold on. This is the way. All right, let's. I feel like the ribs are going to show up, and we're not going to get a pitch from American HODL. So I want to put him on the clock. I want to start these Bitcoin pitches. I mentioned in the opening that I'm cutting together all the old ones, and it's going to make for such a cool video. It's just like people pitching different people and trying, and it's going to be fun. So if you're new to the show, I don't think everyone here has done this before. Basically, what we do is we give you 60 seconds to give us your best Bitcoin pitch. You can tell us who you're going to pitch. You can pitch a specific person, a group of people, everyone. It doesn't really matter. We just ask that you tell us who the pitch is for. Sometimes I'll give you extra time if you're on a roll and I don't want to cut you off. So don't worry too much about the clock. It's mostly for aesthetics here. HODL, let's throw you in the hot seat, I think.
Yeah. All right. If you're new to this market, you've just entered this market, and you've decided to. Hey,
hold on. We
said go.
No, I didn't say go.
I'm fuck a beat. I go a cappella. Come on.
Who are you going to pitch today?
I was going to pitch newbies who are just entering the market.
All right, perfect. In 3, 2, 1.
All right, listen, you're brand new here and you bought Dogecoin because it's a funny meme and it's going to $1 or whatever. You are going to get dumped on super fucking hard. At the same time that you did that, all of the Doge that hadn't moved in 5 years made its way to exchanges so that rich, sophisticated people could dump on your dumbass who works at Target and is gambling with your fucking part-time allowance money. All right? You don't know what the fuck you don't know. If you're trying to make $800 into $1,600, you're likely to lose it all in the process. Fucking believe in your future, believe in yourself, build rationally towards an actual future, not some nihilistic fucking, I'm going to buy a Lambo and be cool and get my dick sucked in the Lamborghini. Don't do that. Do the thing where you get a minivan and cut your own hair and you build a rational life and you have a family and you have prosperity and then you die and you're fucking happy with the fucking life you lived instead of having the stupid being a YouTuber and having a fucking Lamborghini, all that dumb shit. Fuck yourself. Buy Bitcoin.
With 4 seconds to spare.
When it flipped my table so hard, I was like this the whole time under the table.
I don't know if I can include all of that in the compilation video, but we will.
Just bleep it.
Yeah, just get the dick sucking part in there, and then we're good.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Just do a 1 minute bleep. That's it.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, HODL, thank you for that. Do we have volunteers for who's going next? If you go next, I'll give you 1.5 minutes.
All right, I'll go next, and I do not need 1.5 minutes.
All right, Brandon, tell us.
Well, maybe I do.
Who are you going to pitch today?
I want a call option on that extra 30 seconds.
You got it.
I'm going to pitch Mikhaila Peterson's community. So the people that listen to her podcast, you can kind of have overlap with JP's podcast as well. But these are the freedom people, the personal responsibility, the sovereign people. Yeah, that's who I'm pitching.
All right, sir. In 3, 2, 1.
All right. Bitcoin is the first step on a multi-year journey of personal responsibility. You're going to question your long-held assumptions. You're going to rebuild your worldview from first principles, from food to economics to geopolitics to the quote social sciences. None of your assumptions are safe. And while this journey is not easy, the payoff will be immense if you so choose to accept. Along this journey, you'll find your community. In a world that seems to be going crazy, finding your people is more important than ever. Bitcoiners care deeply about self-sovereignty, thinking from first principles, and they come with an open mind. And if you join us with an open mind and bring respect, kind of a beginner's mind, you'll be welcomed with open arms. And also, we're having way more fun than anyone else right now. So if you want to be on the fun team, this is the place to be. And so if you want more freedom in your life, Bitcoin is your answer. There's no alternative. Join the winning team today.
Oh, 3 seconds.
That was warm and fuzzy.
Not bad. Exactly 1 minute.
It is.
Not bad.
I like it. Someone wanted Camilla to pitch her cat on Bitcoin, but she doesn't have a cat. So I put a cat on my head.
I don't have a cat.
I don't know why a cat would need
Please
Bitcoin.
don't make me pitch a cat.
No. No.
Yo, Brecky, I'm ready.
You ready?
Brecky. Yeah.
Who are you going to pitch today?
So I'm going to be pitching Bitcoiners that are bears. Bitcoiners that don't think that Bitcoin is going to go high enough, fast enough. Bitcoiners that think that CBDCs are going to get in the way. Bitcoiners that think that governments are going to slow this thing down. I need to talk to them because I don't think that they're really fully comprehending what the fuck Bitcoin is.
I love it. All right, sir, in 3, 2, 1.
All right. First of all, I want to talk about CBDCs. To all the Bitcoiners out there that think that central bank digital currencies are going to somehow slow the spread of Bitcoin, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. If you pay attention to a central banker for 1 second, you're going to realize that, first of all, they're going to be buying Bitcoin very soon, if not already buying Bitcoin. Kind of like Brecky's little video of Miss Lagarde. But second of all, they have not even gotten to the point of deploying their stuff. And the country that is most far along is China, and they're just still playing around with little airdrops, okay? So they are not going to ship this shit. At the same time, Bitcoin is funneling its way through every nook and cranny of the financial system, okay? So this is absolutely going to be off the charts, and no central banker has any chance anywhere, right? I have a meme of Homer hitting over his son, and then his son coming back and smashing him over, with central banks and commercial banks buying Bitcoin. And the reality is I'm going way over time, but Bitcoin is going to go to 1/21 millionth of everything in the entire planet, and that is going to happen faster than the mobile revolution. So if you think that Bitcoin is going to do anything less than take over the world in the next 10 years, you have no idea what you're talking about. You need to look into what is actually happening here. Okay, so do not sell your shit. Do not lever your shit. Just hodl and wait. Sorry.
Bam! No, that was awesome.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what I'm holding in my hands right now? This is an actual bear skull. And I keep this on my desk as a reminder that all bears must die. Okay? This was a real bear. And he's dead now. That's what will happen to you. Listen to CK. He's trying to help you. Okay?
I love that.
Oh, man.
Awesome. I'm ready, Brecky. Ready when you are.
All right, sir. Tell us who you're going to be pitching today.
I'm going to pitch in carnivores.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. You know, like you're halfway there already. You figured out what fiat food is. You figured out that most of the food you can get in the supermarket is kind of fake and not good for you. And it doesn't even matter if you truly understand why that is. You know, it turns out if you're eating steak 3 times a day and throw some eggs on it, maybe, then you're just feeling amazing all the time. And you know, like how some people that did this all their lives long, like, I don't know, some deep in the rainforest that just ate meat or something. They don't have a word even for cancer and all the things that you can heal with that. Just like Bitcoiners, they don't have a word for poorness, you know? So it's the same thing. We figured out that there is only one money, only one sound money. You figured out that there is only one sound food, and you don't necessarily have to understand it deeply. You just know it just works. And yeah, That's what I'm trying to tell you. Sound money, sound food, it's all the same thing. And you can either just try it and apply it, or you can try to understand it and take the long road. And I have 5 seconds to spare. I didn't even see that Reki reversed the clock.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gigi. You're perfect. You're good. Svetsky, I'm putting you on the spot. It's time for your pitch, buddy.
Let's do it. Can I might need a little bit longer than 60, but I'll try and do it. Okay, so my one.
I thought that you might, sir. I thought that you
Fuck off. My one's going to be to anyone still holding fiat and thinking that they should, diversify because, just in case Bitcoin goes down or Bitcoin crashes. So let me know when to go and I'll kick off.
Take it away.
Moving into Bitcoin is not just an economic imperative, but it's a moral duty. Like, to fight the state, we must starve it of its most important source of nutrition, economic input. The state consumes and steals an ever-growing amount of this input like a parasite via its many machinations, like whether it's taxation in an overt method or covert methods such as, inflation and its monopoly on money. As a result, a system emerges which skews the incentives towards blind consumerism, unsustainable destruction of the environment. And what we end up having is misallocated time and energy, rampant speculation, unnatural inequality, extreme corruption at the top, hopelessness at the bottom, and nihilism in the middle class. Ripping the control of money from the hands of any organization, any individual, any institution ensures that we're all playing the game of life by the same set of rules that give rise to civilization, instead of a fucked up game where heads they win and tails everyone else loses. This is the ultimate equality of opportunity. By using and interacting with government money, you are directly supporting a immobile feudal system that's a blend of fascism, communism, authoritarianism, socialism, colonialism, and globalism. We have to fight back. And in order to do so, we must fight fiat. You fix the money, you fix the world. If the state cannot feed itself, it cannot fund itself. If it cannot fund itself, it cannot continue to perpetrate the crimes that it continues to commit. Bitcoin fixes this shit. You should be all in. Shit, did I make it in 60 seconds?
No.
Yeah, less than.
Extended the time for you.
Oh.
Okay. Love you.
But not by much. That was only like a minute and 40. So that was pretty good. I was prepared to do like 5 minutes. So that was good.
I personally think that Alex's pitch is the pitch that a lot of Bitcoiners need to start adopting. I feel like we often find ourselves like in the defensive against like, oh, Bitcoin's taking up energy, oh, all of this stuff. And we need to just start going on the aggressive and just calling fiat as it is and saying like, you are destroying the planet. You are creating misallocation of wealth. We need to adopt Bitcoin as a moral imperative, as an ecological imperative now. And get the fuck out of the way if you don't believe me. Like, we need to just start. We just need to completely flip it. And I'm sick of just being on the defensive.
100%, man. That's actually what inspired me. Like, because I was talking with someone and they were asking me to defend why Bitcoin. And I'm like, man, we have the fucking moral high ground. Without Bitcoin, we blow up the fucking environment. We turn everyone into mindless zombies. We waste all our resources. We destroy our future. We fucking rob our children. Like, we fuck everything up if we're not on Bitcoin. So it's like, we've got the moral high ground. You tell me why the fuck I should continue supporting this clusterfuck that is fiat. Look around. It's a disaster. So yeah, thanks, EK. I 100% agree with that, man.
It's like the energy arguments, man. They're fundamentally in bad faith, right? It's like, 100%. I'm not sitting around moralizing your energy usage, right? You ever taken an airplane ride to Bali to go to a yoga school to go find yourself? That's a fucking waste of energy, isn't it? Maybe you should stop doing that. Stop being a selfish bitch, Just saying. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about renewables. Fuck yourself.
I have done that, American, and it was great.
Same.
All right. Do we have more to do? Do I need to do one? I should probably do one.
I mean, yeah, the Swan team, only Brandon has represented so far.
That's true. All right.
I was waiting for the guests to go, but you go, Brecky. Nice.
All right. Let's see what I can do. Do you like being oppressed by me, the US dollar? If so, keep using me. Why not? I'm the currency of the oppressors, of the state. Some people even think that the dollar is racist. And you know what? They might be right. So keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on using the dollar. Just keep on being sheep. That's what we want you to do. And isn't it ironic that me, George Washington, I'm telling you this, one of the founding fathers who would be so upset with America with how the monetary system has played out. It's absurd. It's a travesty. It is, I'm running out of words here, but it's bad. And you should use Bitcoin. I'm George Washington. Stop using me. Actually, in the meantime, use me and save your Bitcoin. You know what? Participate in the circular economy if you want. It's all important. Bitcoin for everything. Bitcoin for everyone. I'm George Washington, and I'm done speaking.
George Washington would be a
George
Bitcoiner.
Washington
That's for
on
sure.
crack.
All the founding fathers would be Bitcoiners.
Not all of them. Some of them were
Except
fucking mad
Hamilton.
central bank maximalists. But yeah.
Hamilton
really?
would have been a CBDC maximalist. He would have been an Ethereum probably.
Ew.
Camilla, do you want to do a pitch?
Yeah, I'll do a pitch.
All right,
I want to pitch the people that say that they have no time to learn about Bitcoin.
Sounds like you're calling someone out right here. Anyway, let's move
No,
on.
I'm not. I'm gonna include it in my pitch.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so unless you're Mikhaila Peterson that has 6 jobs, and you're a person that is always scrolling on Instagram and scrolling on Facebook because you're nosy about other people's lives, the truth is you probably don't take charge of your own life. And what you keep doing is wishing you had other people's lives, wishing that you had prosperity, wishing that you had a happy lifestyle. Well, the truth is that you can do that, is that you're just choosing not to put in the time to learn about it. If you have time to scroll endlessly through Instagram and Facebook for hours and hours, you have time to put in a Bitcoin podcast and start listening to useful information that can actually change your life. You don't have to sit down and read a book. The thing about technology today is that it's so easy. Everything is literally in our hands to be able to get the right information. You just have to put in the work. This is not going to be installed in your head like in the Matrix where they just put information in your head and you know about it. No, you have to put in the time to learn about it. So make sure that instead of wasting your life scrolling through social media, you're taking the time to learn about what can change your life, give you liberty, give you wealth, and give you happiness. I'm done. And that's Bitcoin.
Woo! Woo!
Yo, Brecky, can I talk about something?
You can talk about whatever you like, my friend. Wait 1 second.
Oh, all right. Get on the soapbox here. Okay, I feel like Mikhaila kind of thought that she needed to understand Bitcoin to like use Bitcoin, and I mean, it really like people don't need to, you know, like I really don't think that people need to understand Bitcoin other than the fact that it works. And I feel like that's just going to be like the lowest common denominator. People are like, Bitcoin works just like my phone works, just like whatever works. And, you know, don't get scammed. You know, so, Bitcoin works, don't get scammed. And that's just like, life is just going to move like that.
So what do you think?
I think what she meant was that she needed to deepen her conviction so that she could have a more significant stake in the network, you know, and she said like, orange pilling her father was important, obviously, because her father has probably done very well financially since his rise to prominence. So, you know, and she's not dumb, so she knows that that's her inheritance, right? I mean, I think she just wanted to deepen her education and conviction so that she was, you know, more comfortable going all in, basically, like some of us have, like all of us should have. No, I'm just kidding, but really.
And I feel like she's on the right path. Sorry, like I just wanted to add, like if she's going to be talking to Robert Breedlove and stuff, those are the people that she should be talking with. People that have the highest conviction, that understand this in such a deep level, and that can kind of speak her own language. So I feel like she's definitely on the right path. And I'm glad she was on the show today because she said that other people were trying to get her into some other things, like in the last couple of weeks, and she probably understood that that's probably not the move. So.
CK, I have a question for what you were saying. you said people don't need to necessarily understand like the inner workings of Bitcoin. They just need to know it works. But like, what happens when you have a shitcoiner who's like, oh, well, my shitcoin works? You know, like I think there are people who, maybe I would say that they need to understand what the underlying problem is that Bitcoin fixes. They don't necessarily need to know how Bitcoin works, but they need to know that Bitcoin fixes it and shitcoin does not fix it. Would you agree?
I think the framing.
Yeah,
I was just going to throw something in there. Oh, sorry, delay. My bad. Shut up.
Go for it. No. Alex, go. Add your framing.
I was just going to say the framing of fiat, like Bitcoin fixes fiat, and anything else that is issued by someone or decreed by someone is just going, like it's jumping out of the fire into the fry pan. Like it's just swapping one set of idiot rulers for another. So it's like it's just a replication of the problem and just making it, you know, probably doing it with less checks and balances, to be honest. I'd say the US dollar at least has a few checks and balances, like whereas Ethereum and all the shitcoins, they got zero checks and balances. Like you are completely blind faith trusting a couple of dweebs who've, you know, still haven't, you know, had their dicks wet with, you know, running a monetary system. Like it doesn't make sense. Like they're still virgins. Like you can't. I mean,
that's
virgins.
Clear. Yeah, that's clear. No, that's science. Trust the science. You know,
that's 100% science.
It's facts. Yeah.
I mean, Brecky, what I would say is like, you know, life is a bitch. Idiots are going to get scammed. In a long enough time horizon, the collective wisdom is going to continue to hone around. Bitcoin works. Bitcoin number go up. You know, don't get scammed. Like, I feel like it's just gonna be like, you know, don't drink bad water. Like, boil your shit so you don't die. Like, it's just gonna enforce itself on the population. And like, I just like, there's gonna be charlatans and scammers everywhere. Altcoins are enabled by Bitcoin's permissionlessness. So like, it literally comes with it comes with it, hand in hand.
Yeah.
Fair.
Crew, I'm gonna run. I got a call. Peace. Really good to see you all. Ricky, thanks for organizing this.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing your time, everyone.
See you next time.
See you.
For sure, man. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody. If you're still with us and you're not a Swan customer, guess what I'm about to say? Sign up for Swan Bitcoin, folks. Go to swanbitcoin.com. Start auto stacking, start instant buying, start learning about Bitcoin. Go to swanbitcoin.com/free book and get Jan's book for free. Go to 21lessons.com. You can listen to Gigi's audiobook for free. And you should buy it on Amazon because it's a really cool book. It's got a really cool cover. It's awesome. Get that book too. Buy all the books, listen to all the podcasts. Stop scrolling on TikTok, but do go like Camilla's videos on TikTok because they're actually good and they educate you about Bitcoin. So recommend those. Follow American HODL on Twitter. Watch his self-help videos. He's shrugging behind the scenes, but we can't really see him. Hold on, let me fix that. There he is. Wait, no. Oh, he's still covered up. Damn it! What am I doing? There he is.
Interesting.
This is my favorite view because I'm like the puppet master here. Anyway, I didn't know you all were going to stick around. I was going to do the ending shill, but you know what? If you've been watching this long, you know where to go. Go to swanbitcoin.com. And I guess we'll see you all next week. Any closing words from anyone?
Just buy Bitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin. It's not that complicated. Like, seriously, it's not complicated.
So easy.
It's easy. What are you doing? Why are you still watching this video? Go buy some Bitcoin.
Gigi, why are you still smiling? You can stop now.
Hurt?
No. That comes with stacking sets, you know. You never stop smiling.
It's becoming harder and harder for me to, you know, get in the newbie mindset because to me, Bitcoin is just so inevitable and obvious at this point that, yeah, I have a hard time going back there to where I was when I first found out about it. So, yeah, it's obvious.
It's literally a different operating system. You're on the fiat operating system or you're on the Bitcoin operating system.
Yep. Sometimes people straddle it. Yeah. Takes time to make the transition, you know, it takes a few years to make the transition, but once you've done it, you're just like, yeah, I don't know. They can do whatever they want in the fiat world. I don't give a fuck about it. Doesn't affect me. Fiat politics don't affect me. The amount of money printing actually helps me. Like, it is what it is. I've judoed the entire system to my benefit. You know, I don't understand why everybody isn't doing it. There's a fucking storm coming. Pick your lifeboat. Which lifeboat are you going to be in? You know?
Exactly.
Speaking of changing to Bitcoin, total left field, I was talking to Spencer Schiff last night. He's on the fence about Bitcoin 2021. And this is just me throwing out a Hail Mary. If anyone has an Airbnb or an extra place for the kid to stay, hook him up. I think he's like 19 or something. So, yeah, bring him down. He needs to be there.
Spencer, we got a couch for you, bro. You can sleep on our couch at our Airbnb. All right.
DM American HODL.
But we're gonna talk a lot of shit about your father. I hope you're into that. It seems like you are from looking at your Twitter.
Yeah, I feel like he would be okay with that.
All right. I think we're done here, folks. Bye-bye. We'll see you next week. We'll see you at the see you on Twitter. Say hi to us. Go buy some Bitcoin. Until next time.
Peace.
Bye.